Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me is the man who wishes he was Tiger Woods, but can't afford to quit his day job. Uh, my friend, your next best friend, the guy who had faith in the Chiefs when they were down with 13 seconds left against the Bills, Mr. Dale Baker. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Probably too much optimism in this brain of mine, but hey, listen, you speak it into existence, right? No, we don't believe
I don't
that.
know about that.
But I was pretty confident they would come back. We had the fastest player in the NFL at the time. Now we have the fastest player ever in the combine.
There you go. We got it all. So, in today's episode, we're going to be looking at the Chiefs matchup on the Sunday night game against the Falcons. Be talking about our left tackle situation, our running back situation. I mean, what are we going to do without Pacheco here?
Yeah.
And get into all those things about the game, too. So, stick with us.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
How about those Chiefs?
All right, Dale. So, let's get into this matchup against the Falcons here. So, first question I have to ask, because the Falcons came back and beat the Eagles in their last game this past week. So, are the Falcons for real?
It did not look like the Philly defense was on in that 2-minute drill. I mean,
Well,
I don't know. And we talk about all the time how the you play prevent, you prevent to win when you play that zone. You just got to be aggressive. I don't think they blitzed Kirk Cousins one time. He's coming off an Achilles. I'm not saying you want to hurt him, but you got to get pressure, get him off his spot, make it a little more difficult for him. But yeah, I think credit to the Falcons for going out and win that game. But I felt like Philly gave up a lot of points in that game too. So we could be talking about playing the 0-2 Falcons, but we are playing the 1-1 Falcons Sunday night.
yeah, and I think that Eagles secondary especially is pretty weak. So
Yeah.
their defensive line is really good.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily. Anyways, this isn't about the Eagles. So
No. We
defensive
won't
line is good, but their
let's talk about the
secondary
Falcons.
allowed the Falcons to move the ball and score there at the end though too.
Yeah.
So,
But back to your original question, are the Falcons for real? Kirk Cousins is going to win you 10 games. He has proven in this NFL that, hey, I'm going to win some games, and he is going to win you games. He's probably a franchise quarterback. He's not one of the elite franchise quarterbacks, but he is a franchise quarterback that's going to help you. If you put the right pieces around him, I think there are an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, but I don't think the Falcons are there today or this year.
yeah, he's a top 10 quarterback for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Even off the Achilles. And
yeah.
And how can you not like Kirk Cousins after watching Quarterback
I know
on Netflix?
he is such a great guy, singing hymns to his kids. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So just a
know.
good guy. Just a good guy. So you kind of root for him now. I kind of root for him, but
I
not
know,
Sunday
me
night.
too. No,
Not Sunday night.
not then, for sure. So, in the matchup here against the Falcons now, so the Falcons have an emerging young tight end. I think this is third or fourth year in Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs' defense, however, is not very good so far against tight ends. The Chiefs have allowed the most yards to tight ends in the NFL, both in man coverage and in zone coverage. So they've given us the most yards in passing to tight ends in man coverage and the most yards in passing in zone coverage to tight ends. So, are the Chiefs going to figure this out? Are they going to figure out how to defend tight ends eventually?
Oh yeah. Spags is in the lab right now figuring out how are we going to stop tight ends? How are we going to stop them? And I think, again, I've said it maybe every podcast we've started recording since we lost Willie Gay, but I think really missing Willie Gay and his speed, athleticism on the field. And so, but yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, especially because our linebackers are the one who are dropping back in coverage against these tight ends, and it's a mismatch from the start. So
right.
I don't know if they're going to do this, but I'd almost cheat down some safety help to not necessarily play them in man coverage, although you could a few times, but just to be that person over the top for those tight ends. Just if they get that ball in there, your job is to run in there and break that ball and knock it out.
Right. And the benefit we have McDuffie is, you almost can leave him on an island for the most part. And so, I mean, obviously he probably would appreciate some help every now and then, but for the most part, you could probably leave him on an island and let him just cover. And then you can have your safeties come and help on the tight ends and the other wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the Falcons, here's an interesting stat for you. The Falcons are the only team in the NFL to have rookies play 0 snaps on both offense and defense so far.
Really?
0 snaps on offense and defense.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, isn't it?
That is. That's pretty impressive that they got that much talent.
Yeah. Yeah. So makes you wonder if they just have that much talent and that much faith in who they already got, and they're just grooming these guys to be the next player or what. But anyways, that's interesting stat for you there. But the other side is the Falcons ball carriers have been contacted behind the line of scrimmage on only 25% of plays, which is the second best in the NFL.
Wow. So
only 25% of the time are they touched behind the line of scrimmage on running plays. So that is definitely something to take note of. Their offensive line is obviously blocking well for them on running plays. And so we've talked about before can the Chiefs run defense? I mean, I know we've kind of stopped some of these teams before, but I feel like these teams we played so far, they've just kind of given up on the run.
Right. So and I think go ahead. Sorry.
And that running back for the Falcons is no joke.
Yeah, BJ,
Yeah, that guy is so good. So the question is, will the Falcons give up the run as easily as these other teams?
I think it depends on the score of the game. If it's, and the Chiefs always seem to play everyone close. They're terrible. They're terrible against the spread. And they play a lot of people close. And so, and I think if we get 2 scores ahead, they're going to have to abandon the run. But I think that's also what makes Kirk Cousins such a great quarterback is that he plays so well off the play action. So if the run's not working, then I think we got him right where we want him. But if the run's working, then the play action is going to suck everybody up, and then they're going to hit a deep threat or a wide open guy. And so we can't allow that. I think we have to set the tone with the running. We're just going to stop it. You're not going to run. We're going to make you pass. So put A in the box, give the look. They're like, hey, good luck. Yeah,
I agree. So got to do something to slow down that running game. So I don't think they're going to abandon as quickly as the Ravens and the Bengals did, because they basically abandoned it from the start of the second half, which makes no sense because it was working. But I mean, I'm thankful they did. But I don't know why they did. It makes no sense at all.
Do you think maybe it's like a Pat Mahomes effect that like we have to get points? If we don't get points, he's going to beat us.
I think part of that is true, yes.
Yeah, I think...
And because we played both those teams a lot the last few years, and so so they know that Pat Mahomes can beat them.
Yeah.
So we haven't played the Falcons and Kirk Cousins that frequently, so they might not have that same effect or same thought process.
Yeah, that's very true. And so I think, hopefully they'll abandon it because, that guy's good, and he could be maybe at the end of the year being the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, here's another stat for you. So Mahomes, when targeting his receivers this year, has targeted receivers 10 yards or less down the field on almost 70% of all of his passes, which is a career high for him. Wow. So even though we've been talking about stretching the field this year and having Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice and some of these guys, and I know we brought in Hollywood Brown, although he appears to be out for the entire year, maybe even all the playoffs, we'll see.
Yeah.
So we have all these guys who brought in to stretch the field, and yet he has a career high in pass attempts that are less than 10 yards. But however, the Falcons defense allows the least yards per pass attempt when targeting 10 yards or less. So that might be something to watch here. If they're going to keep targeting the Chiefs, that is, keep targeting receivers within 10 yards, that's not going to end up well for us. With this Falcons defense.
Right. Yeah. I heard something, I think, on the radio yesterday, and I don't know if it's 100% true, but that Mahomes has more 20-yard completions this year than he does the last 2 years already.
Yep. I heard that too.
Okay. All right. So
Well, I didn't hear last 2 years. I just heard last year is what I heard.
Okay.
But it could
I
be the
heard,
last two. I don't know.
yeah, the last two combined. And so
Yeah.
they are stretching that field, but yeah, it's wild to think that we lived and we won the Super Bowl last 2 years. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
amazing.
they're stretching the field like twice a game, basically.
Yeah,
And it's got to be more than that if you want to have that consistent threat. If you
right.
only do it twice a game, people aren't going to respect that at all.
No,
And
no,
so
no,
you're
no,
not
no.
going to, all your defense is not going to drop back and all of a
Yeah,
sudden be like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to play the long ball because you haven't proven you can do it when you only do it once or twice a game.
yeah.
So, and I'm not, because, think of even Rashid Rice, his long ones are usually still caught within 10 yards.
Yeah,
So, even some of these long plays,
yeah,
because I guess was that stat you just shared, right? It was
yeah.
Mahomes 20 yards. Oh, sounded like a dog was dying or something.
So yeah,
but it's so even when Mahomes is targeting 10 yards or less, he might still be getting those 20-yard plays.
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't count that as stretching the field when you're getting that after the catch.
right. Yeah, that's very true. So, but still, we're making big plays. I mean, I think that has been
making
something.
Big plays. That's
Something I've noticed this year so far is that like, oh, we're kind of like scoring fast,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of slow, it's like, oh, it's a little more speed. We're getting down there at the other side of the field a little quicker than we had been the last couple of years.
Yes, that is very true. We have been doing that very
Yeah.
well. So let's talk about this left tackle situation.
Oh,
So
no.
we briefly talked about it, but I just want to hit it again real quick.
Yeah.
So what is this left tackle situation going to look like, you think, going forward? And are the Chiefs going to be able to figure out how to block that blind side for Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to figure it out, right? It's going to it's going to have to be figured out, because if we don't figure it out, we're going to get Pat hurt or give him no time, and then we won't be stretching the field at all. And so, but yeah, I like thinking about it after the last couple of days. Just the fact that taking him out in the fourth quarter that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough. And so on in the middle of a drive, it wasn't even after.
And I'll say this: I rewatched the game, and you're talking about that rookie Kingsley Sumatua. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Something similar to that.
Yeah.
But I was watching that game. I was kind of watching him a little bit because I knew he was going to take it out. I knew he struggled, so I kind of eyed in on him a little bit more.
Right.
There was a time there towards the end, though, that he was holding this guy, Hendrickson, basically every play, even though it wasn't being called every play.
Right.
So I understand Bengals being upset about that, but they let those things go for 1 or 2 seconds every game. But it was almost immediately after every snap he was doing it. Like, he wasn't trusting his mechanics. He wasn't trusting like his training or anything at all. He was just immediately beat already mentally before the ball's even snapped.
Yeah.
And I think at that point you have to get the guy out, because he's not doing anything when he's mentally gone, so to speak. Right. And so I think if they can figure, because he has all the physical aspects and tools to be really great. He's got the size, he's got the quickness. I mean, got good feet movement, so good footwork, that is. But if he can't get that mental part figured out, he's going to struggle. Yeah. And I think they'll get him there. They've got a great offensive line coach, and Andy Heck, offensive line coach there, so they'll figure it out. But the question is, who do you think's going to get the start this week? Is Kingsley going to get another shot, or do you think that guy from OU,
Morris?
Yeah, there you go, Wanya Morris. Is he going to get the start?
Well, Morris got a touchdown. He's on the board. He's on the touchdown board. So, but yeah, I think depending on how practice went for Kingsley, I think that will be a big factor. And just, because I think Andy Reid said after the post game press conference was, he had to get his mind right. His mind, and to your point, his mind wasn't right. He was abandoning all mechanics and just saying, hey, I got to stop this guy at all costs. And so if it's hold. But yeah, so I think they're high on him. And so I think we'll see. Man, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
And I'll say this too: you can't expect a rookie who's now played in 2 games and last week in the second game ever in the NFL.
Yeah.
that's a hard assignment for a veteran to handle,
Right.
Against Hendrickson. And so him struggling is not that big of a surprise. Everybody has their welcome to the league moment. That was his.
That was his. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I don't
So
think like the Falcons pass rush is elite, like
no,
say
they don't have a Hendrickson on their team.
right. And so they may throw him back in there and just say, hey, work on this, work on that, and then see what he does, see how he does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I would guess that the Kingsley's going to get the start again, and
Yeah.
they're not going to give up on him that quickly. If he struggles again, though, they might take him out for, 1 or 2 games and just say, hey, you know what?
Right.
Watch, learn, improve, get better, get your head right and in the
Yeah.
right space so we can have you for the long run. So, but with that being said, what is our running back situation going to look like too? Because we've now been confirmed that Isaiah Pacheco is out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, and maybe even longer. Just it all depends on the break in his leg there and how bad it was and all those things. So they brought in Kareem Hunt, and I know what we're both thinking right here. Brett Veach is listening to this podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
I mean, this is
shout
at
out
least,
Brett.
This is like what the second or third thing this season that we've simply thrown. Oh yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster was the other one we threw out there.
Yep.
And here we are. And what do you know? Brett Veach has done both those things. Signed Juju, now he signed Kareem Hunt. So, I mean, the Kareem Hunt thing wasn't that hard to guess.
No, it wasn't that hard to figure out.
No, because there wasn't that many out there. But just saying. So they signed Kareem Hunt. He's on the practice squad, but depending on how quickly he picks up on the offense, he very well could be playing in the game on Sunday too.
Oh yeah, at least getting a couple, just get in a rotation. He may not be I think P. Ryan will be the star back or the focus back, and then sprinkle in a little Steele, sprinkle in a little Kareem, and see what happens.
I think it's going to be a by committee between Steele and Samaje P. Ryan.
Okay.
But I think Steele's going to get the start.
Yeah.
So
and P. Ryan
just based on what I've been watching this year so far, they've been giving Steele's more carry than P. Ryan.
Yeah.
So, but P. Ryan is in there more for passing plays and for pass protection. So he might get you more receiving yards.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember a couple years ago when Mixon got hurt for the Bengals. P. Ryan came in and kind of really, took over the show, and so this may be another situation of that. So I think, and Andy, has shown that he goes with the hot hand. So he'll keep that running back in whichever's working, and so.
And if they're doing it by committee and one of them keeps breaking plays, like, all right, this is the guy I'm going with today. So
right. So,
all right. So here's the big question: what do the Chiefs have to do to win this game against the Falcons?
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, what if you had, you were able to say, fill in the blank, the Chiefs win. What would it be? And so I think the Pat has to have a good game, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs' offense really is going to pull it together because I think losing. Isaiah Pacheco and not having the greatest performance last week, man, I really think they're going to be coming in with some motivation and they're going to put up some points.
Right.
I think they are. But I think the key for the Chiefs to win is they have to pressure Kirk Cousins. So here's some stats for you that's really good. So Kirk Cousins, every single one of his touchdown passes so far this year have come when he's had zero pressure on him.
Okay.
And every single one of his interceptions so far this year, which is only 2, but every single one has come when he's been pressured.
Right.
So Kirk Cousins is not that mobile kind of quarterback. He's more that Peyton Manning type where he might, shuffle his feet a little bit, but he's not going to outrun anybody.
No.
And so getting pressure on him is key. And so that being said, Chris Jones and how about this? Can you tell me the second player outside of Chris Jones in the interior defensive line position who's created the most pressure?
Mike Dana.
No, Mike Dana plays the outside anyways, bud.
Well, inside. Who? Wharton?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris Jones has 10 pressures this year. Wharton has 7. That surprised me that he had that many already. But those two have combined for the most pressures by any duo of an interior defensive line this season. So that is good news for the Chiefs and bad news for the Falcons.
Yes.
And hopefully we can continue that trend and get some pressure on Kirk Cousins and
Right.
keep them out of the end zone. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think the key is keeping them third and long, keep them behind the sticks with that, not letting them do 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 where they could still run. But yeah, definitely keeping them 3rd and long where they have to pass to get the first down. So,
all right. So what's your score prediction here?
What's the spread and what's the over under? I always feel like Vegas gets it.
The spread is Chiefs by 3 points.
Okay.
The over-under is 46.5 points.
46.5. I mean, I tell you, these Vegas people.
Hey, I'll tell you, they don't lose very often. I know.
No, they do not.
There's a reason why they are able to keep doing these things and make money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why they're building. They're building buildings. I'm going to say the Chiefs. Like you said, I think the offense gets right. So I'll go 28-17.
All right, that's pretty close to what I had to you.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs are going to get a little more at 31-17.
Okay.
So I take either one of those. A two-score game is fantastic. I think the Chiefs are going to have a get-right game against the Falcons. They're good. Yeah. The Falcons are going to mess up some people's schedules this year and some of the records, throw some kinks in it. I just don't think it's going to happen this week against the Chiefs.
No, so probably not. But hey, stranger things have happened.
It's true. All right, now let's bring to this new segment we have here. This trivia segment, also called "Taking Dale to School."
Oh, man. All right.
So some of these are going to be easy and some of them are going to be hard. Just kind of depends on the week. So here's my trivia for you this week, Dale.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Can you name the players on the Chiefs team who have won 3 rings with the Chiefs?
Do I get a number? How many there are?
Sure. There's 9.
Okay. Perfect. So there's Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
There's Travis Kelce.
Yep.
There is McCole Hardman.
Nope. Oh, wait. No. Yes, so sorry. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I almost said no. It's like, wait, he came back at the end of last year.
Yeah, he did. So, all right.
You got, so that's 3.
Okay. Now let's go. Chris Jones.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Some of these other ones are not as easy. Do you
Bucker?
Yep, Butker's 1.
Yeah. 5. All right. Let me think. No. Man, that is tough.
One of them is a special teams only guy.
The long snapper.
Winchester.
Yep. Winchester.
Yep, and then you have 2 more offensive guys and 1 defensive guy.
Man, I'm trying to think the offensive line, but I feel like Creed came later. Tooney came later.
Yeah.
Trey Smith?
No, Smith came the same year as Creed Humphrey.
Okay. And then
it is a guy who was on the team last year, but is no longer. You're in the right direction. There is an offensive lineman.
Oh,
he's no longer with the Chiefs now.
It's not Brown. He was 2 years ago. Who just left the offensive line? All right, I give up. I don't. This is bad. Me just thinking. You took me to school.
All right,
but, six players.
Nick Allegretti is 1.
Oh, Allegretti, the Doctor Allegretti.
No.
That's not him?
No, you're thinking of
what is that guy?
Mess his name up, but oh man. I can't remember.
I took you to school.
You did. It starts with a T and it's a French name. But it's like, oh man, I'd have to look it up again. I can't remember. It's like they called him Larry for short.
Okay, Larry.
Anyways, Nick Allegretti. So he's the guy that filled in a lot for tackle and guard and basically was a all-purpose lineman. Uh-huh. And then there's a tight end that's on the list as well as a defensive lineman.
Defensive lineman, man.
Yeah, it's someone you would know the name, but not someone you would think of as maybe a great player.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not good, so don't misunderstand. So Derek Noddy.
Oh, Noddy.
Yeah, and Blake Bell.
He's still on the team?
Not this year, I don't believe, but he was last year.
Oh, yeah, that's tough, man.
He won the first one. with the Chiefs, and then he left. I believe he went to Dallas for a few years, and then he came back and won the next two with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
okay, there
there
you
you
go.
go.
Man, that was good. That was a good question.
All right, taking Dale to school.
But nine players still on the. I mean, 9 players. One, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yep, some
Won
of
all
those.
3.
Yep, some of those are still with the Chiefs. So if they win
Right.
another one, you could get several of those jumping up to 4. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens. So hoping for a 3-peat.
Well, as we all are.
The chances are good. I'll tell you. Everybody keeps saying. Let me ask you this last question for you here. Do you think the Chiefs are lucky? / do you think the refs bail them out, or why are they just keep getting all these calls and winning these close games?
Yeah. Well, I don't think luck has anything to do with it, because no one's that lucky, right? I mean, no one's that lucky, and so they keep doing it time and time again. I think it's just a talent, and they've been there and they've seen everything, and they just keep their cool. I think that was the biggest thing, especially last week with the Bengals, was they did not get irate. They didn't no one's throwing helmets. No one's, yelling at refs. It's just, and whether they very well could about like the holding call, they could have got our hands to the face at the end there. They could have got very mad and be like, what do you, we just got it down to the 30-yard line. Like, you just took a big play, and they didn't, they just sat there and 4th and 16. Okay. And there's one quarterback in the league that you feel confident in to be like, hey, he can get us 4th and 16. I mean, there was never a doubt that I thought he would give us a shot,
Yep, absolutely. So, the refs are not helping the Chiefs out. I mean, you watch those plays and you can easily tell that those are actually penalties. They're not just things that are being made up. So, but the other side is good teams find ways to win close games.
Right.
And
yes,
no knock against the Chargers, but look at how many one-possession games the Chargers have lost over the last handful of years. I mean, they are notorious for losing one possession.
Yeah.
So good teams find ways to win close games.
Right. And I just want, for the Bengals fans out there, say this week it's a close game and you're driving and the same pass interference happens. Do you want him to call it or no?
Yeah.
Because
everybody wants that call.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah.
Right. And you know how I know? Because remember in the playoffs several years ago, the Saints, and I forget who they're playing now, there's a huge pass interference call in the playoffs on one of the last drives. And
the Rams.
Was it the Rams? Yeah.
And they went to the Super Bowl, and the Saints did not.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, everybody was talking about that and still talk about that play to this day.
Yeah.
People want those penalties called, whether they want to admit it or not. I'm not even a Saints fan, and I felt bad for the Saints because it was like, dude, the Saints got gypped. They got gypped. So everybody wants those calls, whether you want to admit it or not. So, but the Chiefs are good. They're playing good teams, and as much as we'd like them to blow them out, they keep these games close for whatever reason. And good teams find ways to win close games.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Hey, well, thanks for joining us in this episode of the Kingdom Corner. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave us a review. That helps us get the word out. It's the best way to share this with other people. So this episode is brought to you by Oh Hey Threads. So get you a super soft t-shirt. Dale's got a Mahomes GOAT t-shirt from Oh Hey Threads on right now. So get you one of those or some other Chiefs super soft t-shirt or something else entirely. They also do custom orders as well. So if you have something custom you want done, reach out to them. They can help you out there. So we'll see you next time right here in the Kingdom Corner.